Hi, and welcome to Solo Parenting, the show for all single parents, whether you're a mom or a dad, divorced, widowed, or never married, custodial or visitational. I'm Cynthia McGregor, and my guest this week is Randy KONSKER, an educator. As always, we have Leah Gizzi, Julie Dimaiwat, and our Parent Talk panel, Claudia Bennis, Jody Goldberg, and James Mazzio, and we're off and running.
Parenting, it's life's toughest job under any circumstances, but even harder when you're doing it on your own. Now, from Cynthia McGregor, Solo Parenting. It's the book you need. How do you handle it when there just aren't enough hours in the day to do it all by yourself? What do you do when you run into your ex at the school play and he's got his new girlfriend with him? How do you help your kids understand that even though you and Daddy no longer love each other, you will always love your kids? This marvelous book is available for all popular e-readers or read it right on your computer. It costs just $4.99. Go to the web address on your screen and order your copy now.
If you've got a comment or a question for us, here's where to write: soloparenting@cynthiamcgregor.com. Our guest this week is Randy KONSKER, an educator. Randy is a private school teacher, and he's here to talk to us about kids in the wake of a divorce or a death in the family, how it affects their schooling, how their schooling affects them, how their relationship with their teachers can help with the situation at home, and all that other good stuff. Welcome, Randy.
Thank you.
And talk to us first, please, about how the situation at home shows up in the kids' schooling.
Well, as you can probably imagine, when there's any kind of conflict in a house, it's always going to come out through a kid's behavior. And like our school, I have the student from 9 to 2, 9 to 3. So a good part of that day, they're with us. And if they're upset at home, they'll be upset at the school. They'll be upset at the school.
Well, is there anything the parent can do or should do to make the education process easier for the child in the wake of a death or a divorce?
I think communication is the key. An active parent, whether it's two parents or a single parent, if the parent is able to communicate with an administrator, a teacher, tell them what's going on at home, it helps. Because if people are in education, they have a strong desire to help a child. And when that relationship is forged, it could only help the student, it could only help the child. And it'll help form relationships to get through those hard times that might be happening in the home.
Well, now, we had an educator on the show kind of a while back who spoke primarily of the lower grades, and I asked her whether it was advisable for the parent to notify the school in case of a death or divorce in the family, and she said yes. Now, you teach upper grades, you teach high school. What about high school students? Does the parent still need to come to the school?
Just as important, if not more. Because the high school age student, they're much more verbal, they're much more communicative. They're able to maybe help use an instructor or an administrator to work out some of those issues that maybe they're not so comfortable speaking to mom or their dad about, or even their grandparent about. It's all about the growth process. And unfortunately, we live in a world where a lot of our families are separated. It's 50% divorce rate, separation rate, we have death. It's tough on everybody. So with the high school students, they have the stress of possibly going to college. Our students are going to college. They have their SAT exams. They have their peers going to college. All those issues promote stress and anxiety in everybody's daily life. You factor in now divorce or death or just parental conflict with a child, you want to have that relationship during that school day that can help that student grow and get past, because it's really a growth process. If you're able to master that process, that conflict, that family conflict as a child, you'll only be so much better as you move into young adulthood.
Well, now, in 2 or 3 of the books I've written, I've advocated that if the father is absent, not making himself available to the kids, or has moved across the country or something like that, that the child needs a father figure, whether it's a girl or a boy, a father figure. And among the suggestions that I've made in my books is that a teacher or a coach from school could be a suitable father figure. Now, give me the teacher's point of view. Is it an imposition on you? Do you have 20 kids who want a father figure, who are all looking to you? Is it a pain in the neck? Talk to me.
Well, I think it's an individual's desire to get involved. Some instructors, some teachers are going to just present themselves as the person that's open for that relationship, and some aren't. An active parent will help guide a student into those directions. And truth be told, most teachers that are comfortable in those relationships, they make themselves available. I personally look at my students as offsets of my family. We just had graduation. I teared up speaking at graduation. These were my kids going off to college. It's all about the teacher. It's interesting, they just had a conversation with the Teacher of the Year, the National Teacher of the Year. And that instructor, she pretty much said the same things. It's about making yourself available for your students, whatever their learning style is, whatever their personal strife they're going through at home or in school is. And when you're able to do that, a relationship is forged, and through that relationship, confidence occurs. And all of a sudden you see the students start sitting with their shoulders a little bit back, and they're not slumped over, and they're much more confident. And when they're confident in their relationships, they're much more confident in their schoolwork. And it feeds on itself. It's a wonderful growth process to watch.
Now, does a typical school take into consideration the fact that a child is going through turmoil at home? I mean, if the parents have just gotten separated or divorced and you're aware of that at school, and the child's grades are down and the child is not taking tests well, do you grade on the curve or compensate or something?
Probably not grading on a curve. And typical school is a tough one to kind of put a moniker upon, because unfortunately, some of our schools, they're overburdened, they're underfunded, and their resources are taxed. So I think as a parent, whether it's 2 parents or a solo parent, be active in your child's academic life.
Well, now that's a little tough for a solo parent when I'm not saying she shouldn't do it, and I'm not giving her a free pass to get out of going to school events, but face it, if she's got probably 2 kids, let's say, and she's got to work probably, and she's got to take care of her kids, take care of the house, supervise homework, maybe walk the dog and all that other good stuff, and she's also got to show up at school, possibly with a little one in tow if she can't afford a babysitter. I mean, how the heck is she going to do it?
You do whatever you can. Luckily, we have the modern marvels of technology. Emails are great. I speak to my parents of our students all the time via emails. Some even text me. That's okay to me, but that's me. That might not be every instructor or teacher or administrator or principal. You do what you can. And then maybe there's a grandparent that lives close by that can help out. And the other thing that we don't even think about a lot of times, what about some of our neighbors? What about our neighbors' kids? You might have the 15-year-old, the 16-year-old that's really strong in school. Maybe they'll help out with some of the younger students, help them with homework, maybe be a peer mentor or a tutor to that student. That not only helps the younger student, that 15-year-old, boy, that's a great growth opportunity for them as well. Helping somebody in their community, in their village, taking that next step in their academic life. It takes a village. We hear it all the time. It's very cliche. But why not utilize those resources if we can find them?
Well, I think most cliches get to be cliches because they're true, and that's why people repeat them so often.
It's a brilliant one.
Now tell me, what age is the toughest on kids to have? Let's talk about a divorce now rather than a death. What's the toughest age for kids to process a divorce and handle it?
I'd probably say the ages from 0 to 21. I don't know if there's the right answer for that. I'd probably say, and this is my social worker in me, if the parents look out for the best interest of the child and are able to put some of their hurt feelings aside, it can work out. Separations occur, divorces occur. If the parents ensure that the kids' focuses are first, it will work. If it's not, it doesn't matter what age you are, it's going to be hurtful and painful, and their academics probably will suffer for a while. But kids are resilient too. Kids are resilient.
Well, although I have another question, we're out of time, Randy. So thank you very much, Randy KONSKER, for being with us this week.
Thank you so much.